Welcome back to the channel. Take a deep breath and settle in, because what you're about to read will stay with you long after you've finished. This isn't just another story. It's a powerful reminder of how fragile life can be, and how quickly dreams can turn into nightmares. By the time you reach the end, you'll see the world and the people in it just a little differently. It all began with a dream, the kind so many of us have shared at one point or another. A young woman, full of life and excitement, decided to chase adventure in the most American way possible, a cross-country road trip. She packed her belongings into a converted van, kissed her family goodbye, and set off to explore the vast, beautiful landscapes of the United States. Her social media posts showed breathtaking sunsets over desert mesas, cozy mornings in mountain campsites, and the kind of freedom that comes with life on the open road. To the outside world, it looked like the perfect journey. But behind those carefully curated snapshots, something darker was unfolding, something no one could have predicted. As the miles rolled by, the cracks in the picture-perfect narrative began to show. Friends and followers noticed subtle changes in her posts, a shift in tone, a hesitation in her captions, a distance in her eyes that hadn't been there before. Then, one day, the van returned home without her. Just like that, the dream became a mystery. And the mystery quickly spiraled into a national obsession. People who had never met this young woman suddenly found themselves glued to their screens, refreshing news feeds, and dissecting every detail of her disappearance. How could someone so full of life vanish without a trace? And why did it feel like we all should have seen it coming? The search for answers became one of the most intense missing person cases in recent memory. Volunteers from across the country joined law enforcement, combing through dense forests, arid deserts, and remote trails where she was last seen. Social media played an unprecedented role, with amateur sleuths and concerned citizens piecing together timelines, analyzing maps, and sharing theories. The internet became both a tool for justice and a breeding ground for speculation, blurring the lines between helpful and harmful. And then, the devastating news. Her remains were found, in a secluded stretch of wilderness, miles from where anyone had expected. The confirmation of foul mark turned a tragedy into a homicide, and the nation's collective heart broke all over again. In the weeks and months that followed, the story only grew more complicated. The man who had been with her, the one who drove the van home without her, became the focus of a manhunt that played out in real time across news networks and social platforms. His eventual disappearance, the discovery of his belongings in a swamp, and the cryptic note left behind only deepened the sense of unease. People demanded justice, but they also demanded answers. How had this happened? What were the warning signs? And why hadn't anyone intervened before it was too late? What made this story resonate so deeply wasn't just the shock of it. It was the haunting familiarity. It forced us to confront uncomfortable truths about the people we love, the relationships we're in, and the way we move through the world. It reminded us that danger doesn't always announce itself with flashing lights and sirens. Sometimes it's hidden in plain sight, masked by laughter, affection, and the illusion of normalcy. And it showed us just how quickly a life can be derailed, not by some unforeseeable accident, but by the very person who was supposed to cherish it. In the aftermath, something remarkable happened. Strangers who had never met this young woman began sharing their own stories of toxic relationships, of near misses, of the times they'd ignored their gut instincts and lived to regret it. Her name became a rallying cry for change, sparking conversations about domestic violence, mental health, and the importance of listening when someone says they're not okay. Nonprofits saw surges in donations, helplines reported spikes in calls, and legislators pushed for reforms in how missing persons cases are handled. Her tragedy, as unbearable as it was, became a catalyst for action. So what do we do with a story like this? How do we honor a life that ended too soon? We start by paying attention to the people around us, to the red flags we might otherwise dismiss, to the quiet cries for help that too often go unheard. We educate ourselves on the signs of abusive relationships, not because we think it could never happen to us, but because we know it can happen to anyone. We support organizations that provide shelter, counseling, and legal aid to those in danger. And most importantly, we refuse to look away. Because silence is the enemy of justice, and indifference is the accomplice of tragedy. This story isn't just about what was lost. It's about